Hello, everyone. My name is Uchenna Osia. I am a fourth year PhD candidate from North Carolina State University studying geospatial analytics. And I'm excited to share a little more about my graduate school journey with you all. So the first question was, what made you decide to go to graduate school in your respective field? So funny story, I actually switched my major from computer engineering to computer science the semester, oh no, the my junior going into my senior year. So it was a bit of a last minute decision. And so I was doing research, robotics research up until then. And I realized that the demographics that I wanted to serve through my research or like the group of people I wanted to help through my research was not going to be met through robotics. And so I did a summer of research in critical geography. Um, I went from computer science to geospatial analytics. So I use a lot of data science in my work, but it just is more targeted. So that's what made me go to graduate school. Um, in my specific field, in terms of going to graduate, like actually taking the step to go to graduate school, I went to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County in my undergraduate, during my undergraduate degree, and I was part of something called the Meyerhoff Scholars Program, whose goal is to increase the number of underrepresented minorities in STEM. And so there was always a big push for us to go to graduate school, whether that be maybe professional or getting a master's, but PhDs is always the goal. So it wasn't really too big of a thought on whether I wanted to go to graduate school. I knew I wanted to go. I just didn't know what I wanted to go for. The next question was any professional experiences that influenced the decision for graduate school. So I've had a lot of undergraduate experiences. I've pretty much every summer since I was undergrad, I've been doing some type of summer research experience or internship. Um, Leading into the start of my graduate year, I got a fellowship that required a summer experience. So the people who are funding my degree, I had to go work there for a summer. So I've worked at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory. I've done research at Yale. I've done research at the University of Texas. Just a bunch of different experiences that have ultimately led me to decide kind of what research I want to do, as well as things that I don't want to do. So there's a bunch of different experiences that I would definitely recommend people try out before they start graduate school, just to get a feel for what they like. So the next question is, what was my process for applying for graduate school? So when I was deciding to go to graduate school, we were still required to take the GRE. So I had to take the GRE. I only took it once. I got an average score, so I moved on. I went on a couple graduate visits. I sent a lot of emails out to respective advisors saying, "Oh, I really like your research. Can we sit down and have a call?" And that really just helped get my name out there because they received so many applications. So it's nice to, have a little bit of name recognition or be able to name the people that you might want to work with at the institution, especially at the department. Um, I had a personal statement. So I drafted a personal statement, but I had just applied to the Fulbright program, literally the like months leading up to when graduate applications were due. So I already had a personal statement that had been reviewed maybe tens, 20s of times. 20s or so. Um, I would say my personal statement was the biggest thing because it's really uh, their look into who you are as a student. You can kind of clear up any discrepancies you might have in your transcript. So like my grades going into graduate school were not top notch. And so my personal statement really was a space for me to say, this is what happened during undergrad. And like as you can see in my transcript, there's this upward trend and, these are the reasons why. And you can really like explain yourself. You don't have a ton of space, but you can really explain yourself in your personal statement. So I would say that was my most important piece of my graduate school application. Besides reaching out to advisors and getting your name out there, it's much easier to get accepted if you have somebody to work with, and also much easier to get accepted if you have funding. So a lot of my applications for graduate school were submitted at the same time as a lot of my fellowship funding. I applied for like three fellowships, Fulbright, and all of my graduate schools at the same time, and I heard back from all of them around the same time. So it's a big push because typically they are due. So I think another really important thing I did during applying was having a spreadsheet when with deadlines, with eligibility for fellowships, with people who I wanted to reach out to at schools, graduate visits, and things like that. So making sure that you're really on top of things because once deadlines pass, they very rarely make exceptions. So the next question was about the process for funding. Um, our graduate degree. And so for me, I'm funded by a couple different things. So I am a GEM fellow, a GEM full fellow, which is the fellowship that required me to work at work somewhere for the summer before I started my graduate schooling. So I worked at and still work at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory for that summer. I'm also funded by the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. Um, so they fund me currently, I guess, not in conjunction with GEM. You can't really double dip when it comes to NSF. So NSF funds me like kind of full time. They pay my fees, they pay my tuition, they give me a stipend. The only thing that they don't cover is travel, which I mean, there's travel grants and stuff if you want to go to conferences. I also have a couple scholarships. So I have a scholarship from the United States Geospatial Intelligence Foundation, um, which since NSF fully funds all of my tuition and everything, just all of that money comes back to me. And then I have another scholarship from my department since I am completely externally funded. They gave me another scholarship to say thanks for being externally funded and saving us some money. And then typically over the summers, I try to like intern places just so um, I can get some extra cash because being a graduate student, they really do not pay you any money. So knowing what my lifestyle is and like how I want to kind of live during these few years, I try to do a little something over the summer that also does help me academically. The next question is what you wish you knew before applying. I think I wish I knew what skills I wanted to come out with and if the skills that I was going to learn during my post-grad journey required a PhD or a master's. Um, I wish that I had taken just a better look into jobs post, especially for my specific field, um, after my degree, just because it varies depending on what you want to do. Um, Another thing I wish I knew before applying was um, that I would have to get residency in the state that I'm in. Since I go to a public institution, they made me get residency to avoid paying out-of-state tuition. So I wish I had known that was going to be part of the process. Another thing that I wish I knew was how volatile the time it takes to finish is, depending on what your research is, how you came in. Did you come in with funding on a grant? Did you come in knowing what you want to do or not knowing what you want to do? The length of your degree really varies. It varies extensively. It can be, for my specific department, anywhere from 3 years to 5 years. So that's something that I wish I knew more about. I wish I knew um, more about what I wanted to research during my time. Since I am externally funded, my advisor, she helps, but she doesn't like give me, daily tasks. So there's a lot of like management that I have to do of myself, which is very difficult. And so I guess maybe the last thing I wish I knew how to do before even applying was how to manage my time a little more. So I think that's everything. I would say advice for first and second year students is um, if you know you want to get a postgraduate degree, to know what your kind of end profession is or your end role is. see what those people have in terms of schooling, and determine what degree you need to be that person. Because a lot of times you might, kind of make it through your degree and you're like, oh, I could have done this with a master's, or oh, I could have done this with a post-bac, or, maybe I just need to network a little more. So I would say definitely, get out there, network. People are very friendly and they're very willing to talk to students. So I would say use your your student persona as a badge to get free information. Um, and then also, if you're really committed to this postgraduate journey, make sure you are um, kind of making sure you're in the best position to get accepted. So taking those undergraduate research experiences, interning places, making sure you're a well-rounded student so that you look more attractive when you come out of your undergraduate degree. And then for third and fourth year students, I would say network with the advisors as much as you can, and then really speak to your like the people that you want to be advised by, because a lot of people are good academic advisors, but they're not great mentors. And I've heard a lot of horror stories about people's advisors not being what they thought they were, and they have to, masters out, or they have to switch schools, or they, drop out of their degree. And so, like, your advisors hold your little life in their hands. And so you want to make sure that you guys are compatible as academics and also as people, because if you're not a good person, it is not going to go well. Um, and then also for third and fourth year students, really start early in terms of trying to secure external funding, because it makes you a lot more um, attractive to places. A lot of people, they might be doing research you want, but they don't have any money to fund you. And so if you come in with your own money, it makes you a lot more flexible. And then you feel a lot more in control because you don't have all these things to worry about. So I would say that's maybe I would want what I want here if I was a junior or senior. I hope that was helpful. If anybody wants to reach out to me and ask me questions about applying to NSF or scholarships, how does it work with fellowships and scholarships, applying to GEM, applying to Fulbright. I did English teaching Fulbright in the Netherlands. So I took a year out of my PhD actually to go and teach English to children. Um, Anything about if you want me to look at your personal statement, or if you just want to kind of know what it's like as somebody who maybe, I don't know, left computer science and is doing something computer science adjacent, and, things like that, just feel free to email me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and my email is unosia@ncsu.edu. So I'm always happy to chat about anything that you might think you need help with. Nothing is too small or big of a question. So just let me know. Bye.